Thank you so much, Ashish, for joining us, on this podcast. I think,
Thank you for having me, Rishikesh. I appreciate it. Yeah,
yeah, I think it must be an early morning in the US.
indeed. Believe it or not, this is my second call. So I've been working since quite some time. Yeah.
It works. So great. Thank you so much for joining. And I'm going to go back, go to the first topic that we have on which we need your insights on is that there has been a lot of talks around cloud security, and a lot of products have also come up in this space which are trying to solve this entire, problem as such. So tell us, from your experience, what are the most overlooked security risks when enterprises embark on cloud migration?
Okay, sure. It's a very big question, and I'll try to give you an abbreviated answer. Okay. And it's a very important question too. Security is a day zero job for everybody. You cannot plan technology adoption without thinking about security. So there are several areas. First of all, secure user access. Let's begin with a customer obsessed mindset, right? My users are my customers. Am I giving them a secure access? Number one. Am I authenticating them and authenticating their access? That means, do I have the right user accessing the right areas? So there is a big word that is going around, and it's been there for quite some time. It's called role-based access control. So there are certain governance mechanisms. You have to plan governance, what I call MOS, management operating system, of how your IT is going to look like. And when I say IT, I'm talking all the pillars of IT: infrastructure, application, database, storage, etc., security. And then you have your access controls for the applications. So if I am in HR, I don't need to really look at finance. That means if I log in as an HR person, I should be able to see only the HR applications. So you give the right user the right application. So I always like to use an analogy of a hotel, right? You go to a hotel, there are multiple floors, multiple rooms, multiple different types of rooms. You got a standard room, you got a double bedroom, you got an executive suite. But every user has its own facility. Your room key is only going to work for your room 1001 if it was 1001, so to say, But you can still use the same elevator, but your elevator needs to validate the key so you can go only to the 10th floor if you're on the 10th floor. I'm on the ninth floor. I'm not allowed to go on the ninth floor. It limits that. So you see, the same mindset and the principles need to be applied when organization plans for technology migration from X to Y. X could be a data center, it could be a co-location facility, or it could be right your own premises. You're building your own private cloud. These things have to be thought through so that you can define role-based access control. Then you need to also monitor privileged user. I'm on the 10th floor, so to say, and the 10th floor is a presidential suite. I am the only one going there. So you monitor privileged user access. It is a time-bound access. If I have paid for one night, then my key is only going to work for one night. I'm not going to stay there for 1 week. So all these aspects have to, I'm saying simple words so that the audience can understand. We have to think in like manner so that we are simplifying. Sometimes people become so technical that they lose the business people, right? Because technology exists for the business. Business doesn't exist for the technology. Never change that equation. Business always comes first. So I always say it is a business architecture. How am I enabling my salespeople? How am I enabling my customers? Because the customer could be a B2B model or a B2C model or a B2B2C model. It could be a nonprofit or a federal or a government agency. But at the end of the day, you are serving somebody. And are you serving that person in a secure manner? Now comes access control, privileged user management. Then you're going to think about data security. Are my interfaces secure? Am I using encryption as my data is traversing from point A to point B? And is encryption, decryption happening? How am I? Next is storing the data. Then you think about durability, reliability. These are some of the aspects that come. There are many tools out there, but I'll give you, it's kind of funny way to look at it. You can have so many tools, but a fool with a tool is still a fool. Okay. So it's not about the tools. So I never talk about the tools. I understand customer needs and then work backwards from the customer needs. There are many, many good tools out there. You don't need all the tools. So I don't sell tools. I sell a solution. I sell peace of mind for my customer that my clients, when I engage with them, that they can go to peacefully. That is how I think we build trust and we gain trust. Keep it simple. Don't make it too complicated because technology itself is complicated enough. Okay, so I hope that this gives you some answer. I'm happy to discuss deep dive.
So this was pretty insightful. Like, you gave a, complete overview of what can go wrong and what are the things that has to be kept in mind. Now I'll
I'll
come
give you
to
a
my,
funny example. Okay, funny example.
yes.
Several years ago, when Hilton Hotel started their app, okay, you could actually unlock your room with the app, right? So this is going back several years. I was traveling for a client project, and in the middle of the night, somewhere around 2 a.m., somebody opened my room. This is real scenario, okay? At a Hilton Hotel. It's good I had put the inside latch, and the guy shouting from outside, say, "Hey, why are you in my room?" I said, this is my room. I've been staying here for the last 3 days, you know? He says, but how did my phone open this room? This is the room that was assigned to me. I said, I think there is a mistake. He was like furious. It was like 2 a.m. in the night. So I'm sure he has come on a long travel. He is also tired and he wants to sleep. But I can't let him come inside my room, you know? But just imagine his mobile key opened my room. Okay, this is a real example. I got a fright, you know, and so sometimes technology can give you fright. You have to be careful what you do. So that's why customer experience, user access, user experience, always work backwards and make sure that when we do this, you're keeping your organization safe, your data safe, your access control safe. Yeah. Back to you, Rishikesh.
Absolutely, sir. And this is so much aligned with how, even, how we take up the things is that we see a lot of product push approach, while people are kind of pushing their product, they're qualifying the customers, with various things, with a very, less importance giving on actually understanding the requirements of the business, and then, moving backward from there, and then kind of suggesting a solution. So I will go back to the next topic is that, with the rise of multi-cloud strategies, how do organizations maintain consistent security governance across diverse cloud platforms?
Okay, very good question. I love that question. Multi-cloud is going to be a reality. Nobody is going to put all their eggs in one basket. I am not a proponent of that. Though I worked for AWS, I love AWS. It's a very well engineered cloud platform. So is Azure. So is GCP. Right? So there are BMWs on the road, there are Toyotas on the road, and there are Mercedes Benz on the road. And each car has its own unique feature, brand value, engineering prowess, finesse, design, etc. So you pick what suits you the best. There's the problem. Everybody can drive. So I can drive any car I want. But the fact is, which car do I want? So it's sometimes a preference of choice. But the choice is tied to business need. Okay. If my business need is to just go from safely from point A to point B, I can use any car. But if I want to go in a car that go from point A to point B and work peacefully and the environment is very quiet, right? The car is really smooth. I don't want to feel the bumps. Then I need to choose a little more luxurious car because it will come with those kind of features. Okay. So feature need and the features. Data and analytics is a need, but insight is a greater need. Every application generates data. Okay. Every storage has data. Anytime you open your Word document, you're creating data. So data is growing exponentially. But how I am using my data in a secure manner to generate insights? Do I have access to my data? Can I integrate other tools with my data? Can I run AI ML easily? So when you think on those aspects, then the choice of multi-cloud becomes real. There are ERP applications like SAP. You at first customers used to do dedicated install of SAP or Oracle. People are now going to a SaaS service as a service based service as a software as a service based model and going into a SaaS based consumption and go through SAP Rise because it's all on the web. ServiceNow, many years ago, we used to run ITSM projects and we used to install Remedy inside a data center. And then you set up your servicing, config management processes, manage all the configuration of your devices, manage tickets. So incident, problem, change management functions were all being done in-house. Then came the age of ServiceNow. ServiceNow changed the market completely. Now people go ITSM on a service now that is hosted in some cloud, maybe Azure, AWS, or their own private cloud. I do not know. And I don't care. I am taking software-based license and deploying it in my environment. So now think of an organization has an ISV-based software. You got HR, you got Salesforce for CRM, you got Workday for HR-based software applications or employee management applications. You got SAP for ERP or MRP based services, or you may have Oracle there. They're competing with each other. So you got a multiple suite of services that you are subscribing. You can't really lift and shift those because they are being hosted and provided by someone else. So you already have a multi-cloud access anyway. You got Microsoft Office 365. Do you know where your Office 365 sits? Do you really care? I don't care. The container may be under the ocean. As long as I have access to my applications, I am good. Then you got your on premises, you got a mainframe, you got your legacy environment that is running in house. Think of all these suite of services that's already multiple services. So multi-cloud, in short, is a reality. Each cloud provider, whether it be AWS, Microsoft Azure, or Google Cloud Platform, comes with a suite of services that are integrated with one another. Okay. So it is a matter of choice. It is a matter of cost as well. It's not about going in the cloud. It's about operating on the cloud. Many customers think that we are going to the cloud and we're going to save 30%, 40%, but that realization is not there. Why? Because it's not properly managed. So that's why we have Cloud FinOps as a separate work stream to manage the cloud consumption. To answer your question and summarize my answer is really multi-cloud reality. Yes. Is multi-cloud important consideration for customers today? Yes. It has to be the way you access the application, what you want to do with the application, meaning the data, what is the life of the application. And I'm going to give you one keyword, workload portability. If I build my workloads in GCP, is my container portable from cloud to cloud? So what's my exit strategy from one cloud to another? These are important considerations that the listener should think of when they think of multi-cloud. All are great platform. They all have great strengths, but you got to think about portability. Is my workload portable? What's going to be my exit strategy? Here's the statistics. Once you go with a workload into the cloud, the average lifetime for that workload on that cloud platform is 3 years. So if I was a cloud provider, I'm very happy. You came in, great. You're going to be with me minimum 3 years. So for 3 years, I'm going to get cloud consumption revenue. That's their bread and butter. But you are a business. What's important for you? If your need changes, am I agile? Can I pivot if the need be? So these are some of the things that we've got to be thinking about in a multi-cloud environment. I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely, that was very crystal clear. I'll go to the next thing, which has been talked a lot, is that cloud cost overruns. A lot of solutions are built on top of it, which sells to the customers, telling that we'll optimize your costs. So tell us, what are the most effective levers which an enterprise can pull to optimize cloud spend without sacrificing performance and scalability?
Sure. I think it is the cloud overrun is a reality, but and I'll tell you why it's reality. Because let's take a scenario of migration. I've got 10 applications on my left side, and I got to move these applications to the cloud. I have to do proper assessment, planning. It's not just lift and shift. Sometimes you lift and shift a mess from one side to another side. It will run there, but it's not going to give you the performance. What are the advantages of a cloud? Ability, access, right? A global network is very important. Right? You can have multi-zone architecture. Why cloud overrun happens is because the instance size is not properly planned. If my applications are tightly coupled or two-tier, what does that mean? I got an application, I got a database. They are tightly coupled. I can only lift and shift them. Otherwise, you have decoupled application. You got a front end that is sitting probably on a mobile device. Then you got a middle and then you got a back end. If you decouple your applications, you can manage the cost. If your applications are tightly coupled, then you are going to get with the most beefy servers or the big robust servers that you need. Over engineering is one of the reasons cost overruns happen, or not planning the capacity. Capacity planning, capacity management is the root cause of cost overruns. How do organizations effectively avoid that? You can use features like auto scaling. You can scale out, plan your auto scaling properly. Many times when I have seen customers, they have an auto scaling feature, but they have not appropriately planned to descale it back. So when the peak happens, scale up, scale out. When the peak goes down, then scale back. That will save my cost. Then the kind of storage I use, the type of storage I use. There are so many areas, little areas that is hard to discuss on a short call like this, on a podcast like this. But all I'm trying to say is capacity planning. What is the secret of capacity planning? Proper assessment. Please take a lot of time initially to assess your application, underlying dependencies, infrastructure needs, security needs, data traversing needs. All these things should be thought through before you begin your lift and shift. So plan well, plan the capacity, and then deploy the capacity in the way that gives you the most resilient architecture that you need. You can have 5 nines of availability. It's going to exorbitantly increase your cost. You can do 3 nines and a 5. That can also optimize your cost. But again, it's all tied to the business criticality of that application or that workload. If my business depends upon that application running 24/7 flawlessly, I want to go and plan for a 5 9 kind of an availability. That's expensive. Okay. But I don't need that for all. Some I can stay with a 2 nines and a 5. Okay. Sometimes I can stay with 3 nines and a 5. You see, that is how we plan it. If it is infrastructure design in a cloud environment is planned like that, compute, storage, network, auto scaling, or write a code and do a software define. You may have heard terms like Lambda or Fargate, right? Or Cloud Run. These are some ways you can use to automate your environment to reduce your costs. These features, these functions are available. Deploy them intelligently, think about them, and you can manage your cloud costs better.
Super. Uh, Now, one of the most important questions, these days is that there's a lot of AI applications when it comes to cloud. As per your experience, sir, tell us a few hot applications of AI when it comes to cloud.
AI is here to stay. But AI adoption, there is more hype of AI at this point than the reality because everybody thinks that it has become like a status symbol. Oh, you don't do AI? God, you are like backward. Okay, so people go because businesses are going after AI for status symbol. I love AI. Don't take me wrong. I am a certified practitioner, okay, in AI. But the fact is, what is AI? It's just a way to automate my functions. It's a way for me to gather intelligence rapidly. So there are, I would say, reliable ways of deploying AI based solutions, because then AI also has a lot of ethical considerations. Because if I'm using some kind of an algorithm, my algorithm is my algorithm inducing some kind of a bias against somebody. Fairness, explainability. These are some very important principles of adoption, AI adoption. And there are beautiful tools out there that continue to amaze me. But the fact is, what does my business really need? I don't need everything. I do need something. How do I decide what is that something? So I always say begin small. Try AI optimize, like agentic AI allows you to hard code some automation and see how your business generates value or realizes value. Work backwards from there, right? Don't just get gung-ho and say, well, we are going to turn our application. Now listen, just because you know, you sit in a car, you have not become a car, okay? Or your car is in the garage, does not mean your house is a car. You just use, it's a tool. AI is a tool. I like to keep it as a tool. AI is not going to replace human beings. That is my opinion. There is no substitute to human relationships. There is no substitute to human touch. AI will continue to advance, but we are still in the age of weak AI. It's not fully advanced AI. It will happen someday down the road. But the fact is, AI is also opening new apertures for insight, rapid product development cycles, rapid insight creation, rapid analysis of multiple thousands and thousands of megabytes of files. You can analyze and churn those documents. That is where the value is. But always put the business need first. AI cannot replace. So is AI here to stay? Yes. Should customers be thinking about AI? Absolutely. Should they start experimenting with AI in some areas? Yes. If your budget and financial readiness is there, do it. It's not cheap, but it's worth doing it. So that is really my point of view. AI is also giving birth to new economy of new companies, new startups. That's a whole different way of looking at things. AI natives. You had software native companies, then you have cloud native companies. Now you got AI native companies, right? So if companies are going to be building new applications, then think of that application's architecture as what I call AI native architecture, so that you get the best life out of that application and it doesn't become a legacy overnight. I hope that gives you some answer. This is a big topic, so it's hard to touch every area in this.
We can talk for 24 hours on each topic, sir. I'm pretty sure. I will go to the last question of this, podcast. And this is kind of a generic question, but since you have so much experience, you started your career back in 1998, if I'm not wrong, and you've worked across the technology segment very, very rigorously. Sir, if you see the data, 60 to 70% of the enterprises, they have failed digital transformation projects. And sometimes because of a wrong vendor selection, sometimes because of wrong implementations, or etc etc. What do you think are the main reasons for these failed digital transformation implementations or digital transformation projects, or what more can be done on the enterprise side so that these digital transformation projects are more successful?
Yeah, Peter Deming said this: culture eats strategy for breakfast. Many digital transformations have failed, more than 70%. That is McKinsey statistics. Gartner says 50% of all cloud delivery fails. These are publicly available statistics that these big companies have stated.
Just sorry to interrupt you, sir. There's one more data is that 60% of the enterprises regret their tech purchase within 1 year.
Exactly. So here's I when I advise my clients and work with my clients, I like to take a holistic approach. Do not take a siloed approach. It's not about cloud adoption. It's about business transformation. Okay? Really. So when the business and tech is not aligned, then you can always see people blaming each other, right? When the application development team and the infrastructure team and the security team are not aligned, then they end up blaming each other. Okay, there's always finger pointing. These are some of the reasons investments go south. I'll give you 8 pillars. In fact, I'm writing a book on this, and my book should be out sometimes mid of August.
What's the name of the book?
I've written two other books. One, it's available on Amazon. One is called Beyond Tomorrow, Customer Obsession in Strategic Alliances. How do you really build that partnership that brings value for your organization? And the second is I wrote with a good friend of mine, Jim Brown. It's called The DNA of Strategic Customer Obsession in the Age of AI. There are 25 pillars. I think that's a great asset for many people. If you can go to Amazon and put my name there or put the titles of this book, you will find it there. The next is the holistic transformation. I built a framework called Innovate 360. Okay, what does it mean? I'm answer that framework is to answer this very important point, the data that you just shared. How do you avoid regret 1 year down the road? You got married, but now you are regretting down the road. Okay, that's not a nice scenario, okay? For anybody, it's not a nice scenario. So here are 8 pillars. The first is your technology landscape. You got to think very well about your technology landscape. The second is organizational culture. If the culture is not there to adopt new services, your investment is going to fail. The third is digital capabilities. What capabilities does my organization need? That is very important. The fourth pillar is strategic agility. Market conditions are changing. Five forces are coming against my business, like Porter says, right? How do I pivot? Can I pivot based upon the market condition? That is strategic agility. Pivoting requires technology to support the pivot, okay? Because technology is helping you run the business. So that is first was technology landscape. Second was organizational culture. The third was digital capability. The fourth is strategic agility. And the fifth is financial readiness. Have I thought, I've got $10 million to invest in modernization. Where should I invest? I talk to a lot of CIOs, I talk to C-suite leaders, and they struggle with this question. They ask me, say, Ashish, guide us. Should I build? Should I buy? Should I partner? What should we do? Customer needs this kind of support. Okay, so that is financial readiness. The sixth pillar is ecosystem connectivity. Do I have the right vendors, suppliers with me? Who do I need? Remember, it takes a village. It's not about just me being successful. It's always we. It takes a village to succeed, to deliver value. So we got to become a team player. Cross-functional collaboration is extremely important. Next is the right partners. Do I have the right partners? Could be a good mix of AWS, GCP, and Azure. It could be a good mix of, Salesforce, Microsoft Office 365, Workday, etc. Right? You got to think through. That's why I always think about planning first. Take time to plan. Right? Slow and steady wins the race. So that was number six. Number seven is AI adoption and governance. How am I going to govern this? Is it manageable? So think as an enterprise architect, right? How am I going to govern this AI or this new technology, emerging technology? Last but not the least is ethics and risk management. So these are the 8 pillars that I am writing in my book. Holistic assessment, called Innovate 360. Book should be out sometimes in August. Happy to talk more deeply about it. But when you think of your digital transformation across these 8 pillars, I tell you, my friend, you will reduce your chances of feeling regret after 1 year, at least. If I can help you reduce the feeling of, you know, regretful feelings, and why did we invest so much money? It's not really working for us. I think I'm successful then. Okay. So that is really what I am after, to enable customers to think holistically about digital transformation. Do not take a siloed approach because it leads to sunk cost. Let me make a statement here. Siloed investment leads to rapid sunk cost. What is sunk cost? You have not realized the benefits that you are dreaming of, and the dream never becomes real, and the organization fails. And for the CIO, career is over. Okay. Uh, that is really the reality. It's so you got to think holistically so that you can deliver business value. I hope that this is helpful.
This is fantastic, sir. One of the best sessions that I had,
Thank
till
you.
now.
Thank
This
you.
was very impactful, insightful, and you explained it in such a good layman term that I think even if a person who is not related to information security or IT domain will understand this thing. Thank you so much for joining us on podcast, sir. We'll be in touch, and we look forward to your book as well. Which is being launched in the month of August. I'm gonna be the one of the first buyers of it.
All right, thank you.
I
I'll
promise.
take your word for it. Listen, I want to wish you and your podcast audience the all very best. Thank you for having me today. It has been my honor and privilege. I appreciate it, Rishikesh. Take care. Okay. Cheers.
Thank
Bye
you.
now.